Hi there! I wanted to show you how I have been wrapping selenite lately. You want to start with your piece of selenite, get a nice thicker gauge copper wire, and you want to cut a piece that is about 4 times the length of the selenite you are trying to wrap. And you want 3 of them. Next you want a thinner piece of wire, and you want to just get a ton of it. Then with your thinner piece of wire, you want to get in the center of the thin piece of wire. You're not starting from an end of the thin piece of wire, you want to start from the middle part as well. So we have the middle of this guy and the middle of this guy, and keeping those 3 thicker pieces side by side. I'm going to wrap it about 5 times so it looks nice and clean. You want to get your piece of selenite and lay it down like this on whatever piece you're determining to be the bottom. Make a little sense of it so you're certain which is the end and which one sits in the middle. The one that is the center piece, while holding really tightly onto this so it's not moving around, that center piece, just lay it right down and make an intentional bend right there, so you're making a corner to follow through with what corner the selenite has. Do the same thing on the other side with that same middle piece. Try and hold on to the outside pieces in the top. You're going to bend it and bend it. You want to do this on both sides. The middle piece is laying down and the 2 outside pieces are bent outward in a little triangular shape. So while holding the side pieces down, just so they make sense, and you're making sure you're holding this as well so these aren't moving around too crazy, using a little plier, you want to make an intentional bend on where this selenite bends. You want to do that with both of them. So with this front piece that we just brought it into a triangle and then bent it down, now you're going to pick what spot you want this nice little corner to start. I'm going to say here. And so I'm going to eyeball this one and try and have it at about the same spot. Now we're going to try and have these pieces come back and meet this piece that was that center piece that we laid down to start. So we need to push your thumb against that so you know you're staying true to the shape of this selenite. We're going to make another bend to lay it right down along the side. And then we're going to bend it to lay right down along this middle piece. Look at that. And they're friends again. Let's do the same thing over here. Oh, yes. So we have this little guy. Let's do the same thing on the back side. So now we have the 3 on one side, 3 on the other. Now you want to take that middle piece and straighten it out just a little bit. And we're going to take the thinner wire and just wrap it all the way around this piece nice and tight so it's pretty. And you want to wrap it all the way until you get to the spot where all 3 of these touch. Okay, so I've wrapped this around till I got to about the spot where these corners are all touching. Get it all together so it's 3 amigos again, keeping them laying nice and flat together. Do 5 more wraps around all 3 of them. And we're going to do the same thing to the other side. Once you have both sides, it should look like this. And now you have a little creative freedom on how you want to handle these sides in the middle, but I'll show you something kind of fun. And you can do whatever you'd like, obviously. So we have 5 wraps around all 3 of them. Then I'm going to do 5 wraps around, and not too tight, this is where you can get it kind of crazy, around just the 2 of them to the right. And now I'm going to do 5 wraps around just the one on the end. just one nail. Huh. Then, once you've done 5 on all 3, 5 on 2, 5 on 1, I'm gonna go back to 5 on 2. And then, wouldn't you know it, we're gonna go back to the 3 of them. And you know what? It looks like I have space to repeat that whole pattern one more time. Alright, so then we have a little pattern. It's kind of fun. Whatever. Do whatever the heck you want. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Alright, now that we have done our little fancy stuffs to the end of each one, we're going to do the same thing we did here, just the other way around. Go to the side of one, distinguish which is the outside, which is the middle, with a plier, bend right there, as close to the small wire as you can. So then we're going to bend it here to sit against the corner of the selenite. Alright, now we're going to look at where this bend is and eyeball it so it's about the same. Okay, and now let's do the same thing to the other end. We should have some similar stuff going on. It's not perfect and I'm not too concerned about that. If you're concerned about it, then twerk it, work it, and flirp it until it's perfect. Let's talk about these little thin pieces of wire. I'm planning on just twisting it all the way around that middle piece again until I run out of it, because it looks like I'm running out of it, and that's what I'm going to do. So now you are here. Between these sides, decide which one you want to be the front of your necklace and which is the back. With looking at the front, with the middle piece that's just straight up and not bent, we're going to lay it, make sure it's really snug, fitting on your selenite, especially at the bottom here, and hold it real tight. And now we're going to lay the middle piece that's not bent yet down over the top of your selenite, in between the 2 that are on your back side. We're going to bend this so it goes in between these 2. You're going to have to kind of set it there first, and then we'll find its bend. Perfect. And we're going to do the same thing with the other one. Then, once it's right in between these 2 that are your back side, you're going to hold all of it super snug, and right where these guys, right where the back side intersects with these ones you just laid down, we're going to stand them up. Cool. So now all 4 of those are snug as a bug in a rug, and then we have the 2 in the front that are your front piece. Your front 2, we're going to bend back just like we did with those centerpieces over the top of the selenite. Boom, boom, and they're sort of crossing. You see that? Now, right to where they would be right in the middle of your selenite, we're going to bend them upright. Boom. See that? So 4 of them in the back, the 2 in the front, but they're on the top. We've made that little corner right there, so that selenite is snug. Get another piece of your thin wire, and you want to get a nice long piece. Honestly, I ran out of the piece we were going for a little early. If you had it longer, you could have kept it going all the way up here and then cut it to where it ends right where all this intersection is happening. And mine was just a little shy, and I'm really not concerned about it. Whatever. Wrap it around these 2 front pieces, keeping them side to side and not stacked on top of each other. Nice and tight, and I took my time, and it's pretty. So now with those 2 pieces, I'm going to V it out. So we're weaving it on the outside, around the side, through the middle, around the outside, in through the middle, around the outside, in through the middle. Boom, 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 boom. So now we've got this chunk that's this like woven front straight piece. Once you get to whatever spot feels right, we're going to cut both pieces. So you have a little bit peeking out of where the wire ends. And then with a plier, preferably a little round one, you want to twist a nice little circle outward on both of them. Just like so. We're going to keep this wire, the skinny wire, going. So now, towards the front, you're going to grab a plier and bend both pieces, boom. And then one more bend to bring this guy all the way down to the bottom. Boom. See that? We're going to make it all sit nice and straight. Have the circles that we just made sit in front of the four pieces. They're all unified in the back. And what we're going to do, using this skinny wire that's left, we're going to do the same thing that we've been doing. Wrap them all together, 5 wraps around, so they're all sitting side by side and not stacked on top of each other. With these 4 pieces, angle them at whatever angle you want this little crown to be. And try and work out any bends and think about them being equally spaced, and just work on it a bit until you know that's right where you want them. So we're going to do the same thing, that weaving technique that we just did with the front piece, but with all 4. So around the edge, and don't rush yourself. In front of that one, behind that one, in front of that one, and just keep doing that. And you don't want to squeeze too tight so you're moving all these around so they're staying in the spots you chose for them to be, but you want to squeeze it tight enough to where it sits right. So just weave it in between all 4 of these. In front, behind, and think about bending this wire that you're working with so it's sitting nice and pretty. I think I'm where I like it. So to end this, I'm going to wrap this guy a couple times on one end, bring it through, wrap it a couple times on that other end, pull it tight, and clip it on up. Use a flat plier to make sure it's not pokey. You're going to look at all these, clip them the same distance away from the wire as each one is. And now we're going to use a plier, roll it into a circle this way. Full circles are what we're looking for, so it's not grabbing onto clothes and whatnot. Holy smokes. Look at this cute little piece we just made.